Say, I know
I know
what my
my
what my
what my
purpose
purpose
is.
is.
Say, do you know
Do you know
what your purpose is?
what your purpose is?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and episode 4 of Let's Talk About It. So today I'm going to be talking about purpose, and it came off the back of my second video about dating, and I kind of just wanted to add to that with this video on purpose. So let's get straight into it. So I really feel like purpose, like everything in life, is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not born knowing who you are and what you want to do in life, and you're not born knowing what your purpose is. So if you don't know right now, be easy on yourself and realize that everything's going to reveal itself in due time. So don't be obsessed, like it doesn't just dawn on people. Sometimes it does. It doesn't come in the same timing for everybody. So just be patient with yourself. And that's why I made sure I put the self-love video out last week, because I feel like that's the basis of everything. I feel like your purpose will flow out of your identity, knowing who you are, where you come from, and whose you are. Like purpose flows out of being. And I really feel like purpose is the why. Why was you created? Like this chair that I'm sitting on was created with one purpose and one purpose only. And that purpose was to be sat on. It wasn't created to tell the time. It wasn't created to wash tables with. It wasn't created to mop the floor with. It was not created for that. And I really feel like when you don't know your proper use, you end up getting abused, because the term abuse is abnormal use. So you were created to be a powerful person, a powerful woman, a powerful man, but then you have people in your life that are just beating you up or beating you down, and it's like it's abuse, because that's not what you were created for. That's not your use. So it's important to know why you were created. Every created thing has a creator. So the creator of Apple is Steve Jobs. The creator of Microsoft is, the creator of all mankind is, yes, God. 2 stars for you. Well done. So let's say you had an iPhone and you wanted to know how to use it. Will you really take your iPhone to Samsung and ask them, what do I do with this phone? I don't know how to work it. They're going to be like, no, the phone's by Apple. Take it to Apple and Apple will sort it out. Or you won't take a Mac. You won't take a Mac or a MacBook and take it to Microsoft and be like, I don't know how to use it. They're going to say, take it to Apple. So if you're wondering, why am I here? What's my use? How do I function? You take it to God. You ask God, why am I here? I feel like if you really want to know who you are, where you come from, and what you're supposed to be doing in this life, you have to go to the source. There's no sidestepping it. You can read books, you can watch videos and stuff, but ultimately God is the source, and if God created you, he knows you, and he's the only person that will be able to tell you what your purpose is. So what is purpose? I believe purpose is when your passion and your gift sets align. I feel like that's when you're walking in purpose. You're passionate about what you're doing, and you're doing it for a reason, and you're doing it for purpose. And Iyanla Van Sant said, your purpose is to use your gifts and your talents in the service of God and of people. So you use what God has given you to serve other people, to serve God. You think about billionaires, the only reason they have so much wealth is because they're in the business of service. You have to be in the business of service, of providing a service. They didn't get rich just for the sake of being rich. They got rich by producing a service that can work for them when they're sleeping. So if you have the desire to become a billionaire, then go and serve people. Use what you're doing now to serve more people. More service means more money. That's just basically it. The more people you serve, the more money you will get. So what are you doing to benefit others in your line of work? How is what you're doing benefiting anybody else? Purpose is not selfish or self-serving. It's always for the benefit of other people. What am I now doing that is going to benefit other people as well as myself? By benefiting others, of course yourself, you're going to be benefited as well. Purpose simplifies life. It makes sense out of life. It gives you a clearer direction. And I mentioned in my other video, without vision, the people perish. And another translation says, without vision, the people cast off restraint, which means they have no self-control. When you don't have a vision, you don't have anything you're working towards. So it's like, why must I have self-control? Why must I learn to control myself? There's no discipline when you don't know your vision. You get up whenever you feel like it. If you're working for yourself, you get up whenever you feel like it. You get this job even though you don't really care about it. There's no end goal. So you're always like just doing it just to do it, and there's no real purpose, and you're really just open to anything that comes your way. You're open to everything. It's like, imagine you knew your purpose and your purpose was to be in London, and someone offered you a job in, let's say, Spain or Germany, or even outside of London, even Manchester. Like, you would know then and there that that's not in line with my purpose, so I can't even be distracted. It may even be a good idea, but it's not the idea. It's not the right idea. There's a difference between good and the right thing. And when you have a purpose, you know the right thing to do. Of course, temptation is going to come for you to be distracted, but it can't really derail you because you'll always go back to the main purpose. And I feel like purpose makes your life so straight. Like, once you know where you're going, you know what roads won't actually lead you there. So you're able to see no. And you're able to turn down things that may be good, but not great and not beneficial for you. Not everything's going to take you to your end destination. And you have to know the end destination because it will eliminate all the riffraff along the way. Your destiny dictates your decisions. So you're able to make better decisions once you know what the destination is. So it's important to get clear on what the end goal is. What is the destination? Where am I heading? Without a vision, it's really hard to reject some things because you're like, oh, maybe I might need that. And you end up just taking everything and everything, every single person's opinion on every single thing, every single person's opportunities that come your way. And it's like, but I know how this is serving you, but how is it going to benefit me in the long run? And I really feel like stress comes from not knowing what you're meant to be doing. With all these other options, with all these other things that may come your way, you just have to be able to be focused. And I think vision and purpose gives you a focus in life. I remember asking God so many times, like, what am I supposed to be doing? I know what I'm good at, but how is it serving anybody? What's the purpose of it? So I grew up in Essex. It's literally just outside of London. It's more like the suburbs of London, and in a predominantly white area. And I went to school, high school, just up the road from me. And in school, I was a real terror. I was basically on the verge of getting excluded because I wouldn't wear my uniform properly. And I know it sounds like miniature, but my head teacher labelled me defiant. That was the word he used against me. You're defiant. I literally only went to school for two reasons, and that was one, to socialise, and two, to look good. Like, my school uniform was black, so it was the perfect canvas to accessorise. And I used to be the queen of accessorising everything. I used to like come into school with like hair extensions with a little pink shoelace on it, tied it into a bow, with matching leg warmers, with a matching Nike rucksack, and just like wanting to be stylish, just wanting to be seen. And I was actually on the verge of getting completely kicked out until my mum came to the very last meeting and she literally saved me. Like, looking back, I was so grateful to her for sticking at it, because if it wasn't for her, I literally wouldn't be where I am right now, because I would have been excluded, I would have been blacklisted, I wouldn't be able to get into the colleges and the universities that I wanted to go to. So thankfully I did stay in school and I was able to choose my subjects in year 10. So I chose art and design, textiles, media, and German, and obviously maths, English, and science were mandatory. I was never really good at those kind of subjects apart from English, which I had special grace with because my tutor was really kind to me. She saw past all of the rudeness, all of the badness, and she basically saw my potential. I basically flopped at all of my subjects in school because I never focused on anything. I never gave my attention to everything. like I said before, I was only in school to socialise and to look good. So getting good grades didn't really matter to me. But thankfully, I got 8 GCSEs, A to D, I believe so. Media, I was on holiday, so I missed my exam. That was a F for fail. It's art and design. I got an E. I just didn't understand art and design. I wasn't. It didn't make sense. Anyway, but I wanted to do more hands-on subjects because I thought it would be fun. But like textiles, I never finished my projects in time. Everything was a mess. I wasn't good in school, and I didn't realize then, but I realized when I got to college. No, when I got to university, I actually had dyslexia. So as well as me not wanting to focus in class and being defiant and being rude and being naughty, I basically wasn't able to learn like how everybody else learned in school. When I was thinking about what do I want to do after I leave school, I said to myself, oh, I want to be a model, just randomly. Oh, I want to be a model. Bear in mind, I did not look like a model at the time, but I thought I was cute, yeah. And I was thinking, there's no course for modeling, stop being stupid. So I thought, let me just go into the next best thing, which was fashion. So I studied at Hackney Community College in Shoreditch, Hoxton, and those were my best years. I learned how to sew and to make clothes there. I remember being in a class and there was like a little design that I was supposed to do, and I literally could not get it right. It was very simple. It was just involved just doing light strokes, but the tutor was just like, in a nice way. She was really funny, so she had like a funny, jokey way, like, "What's wrong with you?" or something like that. And like, have you ever considered like getting tested on something? And I was like, I was just laughing. I was like, oh no, whatever. But then when I got to university, I had a session and they was talking about dyslexia, and they was listing off all of the kind of symptoms, and then I was like, oh, that sounds like me. So I went to go and get tested, and turns out that I was dyslexic. University was a struggle. I can't even lie. I went to one of the best universities, but if you're not the best, it's curtains for you. Like, it's just air. London College of Fashion is good for the name. My tutors did not invest in me, so I think I graduated with a 2-2, which I was really upset about. But I understand why I got that grade, because I knew that I wasn't great and nobody was teaching me how to be great. When I was in college, then I started modelling, I started blogging. So from college to university, I was still blogging, and in my last final years at university, I was really stressed out because I really wanted to give my all to blogging and making videos and stuff. And I would see like my other blogger friends like dropping out of college and just doing it full time, and they were so successful. And so I kind of felt like I needed to get out of university. But thanks be to God, I literally finished my 4 years at university, which included a gap year. During my gap year, I worked for MTV. I made a collection with another designer. I worked at Selfridges. I did a lot. So I kind of felt like I had a taste of the real world, but it was still a shock when I graduated university and I was thrown into the real world. And obviously, you want to do good things. You want to be the best blogger, but you don't have the finances to do it. Then that means you have to get like a 9 to 5 job to pay for that lifestyle. So blogging now is better because companies and brands are more open to work with bloggers and send them free stuff and send them content. But back then you kind of had to find your own way and to kind of make things look as good as possible. So I remember being at university and just being so upset that I was doing something that I didn't want to do and that my interest was split. I was giving 50% to my university work and I was giving 50% to blogging. None of them was actually going into it. They were kind of staying on the same level. I was mediocre at both of them because my interest was split. So I had to basically focus on one thing. So I remember I shut off my Instagram, my Twitter, and blah blah blah. And my final year was just for my work. I just banged out my work. When I was at university, I used to dream of doing what I'm doing now. So I'm really grateful to God. I'm finally able to do what I wanted to do. And some days it still doesn't seem great because as human beings, we're always focused on the next best thing and we never enjoy the moment. So it's really about just being content about where you are, because where you are right now is where you dreamed of being. Even if you just have a job, there was a time before when you was so upset and so low because you couldn't find a job or you didn't have a job, and now you have a job. Be grateful, be content, and be happy for where you are right now. But even still, me graduating university and doing what I love, what I said I love to do, it still wasn't fulfilling because I didn't know why I was doing it. So as I said before, the why is your purpose. So I wasn't sure why I was doing what I was doing. I just knew that I was good at it. but I wasn't sure the purpose and the reason why. And it's only of recent, a few months, I guess end of last year, when I really realized that I have a platform and now I need to use my platform to do something that is good and that is inspirational. And I remember asking my friend, like my friend's a motivational speaker, Satonya Duru, and I remember I went to her house and we were just sitting down and she was basically trying to help me find my purpose and stuff, and she really did help me at the time. I always would come back to like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'd always come back singing the same song, and I used to beg God to just show me my purpose. And to be honest, it's not as easy as that. The Bible says to ask, and then to seek, and then to knock. So there's a process to your asking. You can't say, God, what's my purpose? And you're just going to be like, it's your purpose. The first time you ask, you have to keep on seeking. You have to show God that you're actually really interested in finding out what you're here for. So after a long time of begging God and asking him for my purpose and not receiving anything, but kind of receiving a little few hints, I feel like God spoke to me. He said that your purpose is to raise self-esteem. I was like, this sounds like me. This sounds like something that I'm good at. But I would always say that there's always hints along your journey of what your purpose is, even though it's not explicitly told to you. And I used to work in customer service. I used to work at Selfridges. I always enjoyed helping people. And I don't know what it was, but I just always had a sense of joy when I could just show people the little smallest thing. Somebody would ask me where the toilet was, and I would be like, oh, it's over there. And I'll get so much joy of them just saying thank you. Even when people weren't asking me, I would be like, yeah, it's there, or this is that. I was always so keen on helping people. And I remember I was on a cover of Zen magazine, which is like an African-based magazine. I think it was probably about 5 years ago. And they asked me what my purpose was in life. And I just said, my purpose in life is to help people. And I didn't know really what I was saying, but looking back now, I can say that is absolutely true, that my purpose in life is to help people, and that's why I'm making these YouTube videos. So yeah, your purpose isn't always automatically, and it's not always obvious. Some people know exactly what they're supposed to do as soon as they graduate university or finish school. It all comes at different times, and don't be hard on yourself if you don't know exactly what you want to do, but just trust the process and trust that God's going to show you what you're supposed to be doing and why you're here. And I will say that it's already inside of you. I believe. Come say hello. Yeah, I believe that it's already inside of you. So I believe that a tree comes out of a seed, and you know how small a seed is, that small, and the tree comes out of that massive thing. So realize that it's already in you. It's not outside of you. You don't have to seek and search for it. It's already inside of you. So whatever you think is going to, it's going to come from inside of you. Isn't it right, Rome? Yeah. Yes. So yeah, it's really important to find time to hear, to sit down and to hear what God is saying to you regarding your purpose. We're so busy, we're so cluttered, everything is just like, so many things to think about. But dedicate some time to listening. I know we have to talk, but learn to listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So another tip is to develop your talents. I don't believe that nobody has no talents. What do people say that you are known for? When people say your name, what do they ascribe your name to? So when you think of, let's say the bigger people, let's say Tiger Woods, you think of golf. When you think of LeBron James, you think of basketball. When people hear your name, what do they think? It doesn't have to be gymnastic. It doesn't have to be dance. It doesn't have to be singing. It can literally just be like, you're a good listener. I'm a likable person because I listen and I'm invested in what people are saying. So if people say that you're a good listener, that may be a hint to what your purpose is. Another tip would be to write down your desires. Write down what you want out of life, because most of the time we don't know what we want. We know what we don't want, but we don't know what we want. And we've never confessed that into the universe. And I'm going to say one book that has helped me, The Secret. And thank you, Samuel, for buying it for me. It literally taught me to know exactly what I want out of life, because I don't ask for much, contrary to popular belief. I don't ask for much. So I'm okay with being okay. But this book really taught me how to ask for things, ask for what you want. Because most of the time we don't see what we want, we don't have what we want because we don't ask for it. And most of the time we don't ask for it because we don't know what it is. So write down your desires, write down what you want out of life, and that would also help you open up to what can actually get you there. How to overcome discouragement along the way. And I will say it's important to keep your focus. Be focused on your purpose if you know what it is already. It's important to keep that vision in front of you. Write the vision down and make it plain. Keep it in front of you. And if you kind of get discouraged, you know why you're doing this. Like, you know what you're doing and you know why you're doing it. So it's always important to keep it visually in front of you for times, because times will get discouraging and your vision and your purpose will get tested to really see if it's really what you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, keep focused. And also, if that question was regarding like maybe people not believing in your dream, you can't expect people to understand your grind when God hasn't given them your vision. So forget about what people are saying, forget what people think. If you really have this purpose in your heart and it's really solid, what people say, it may kind of shift it a little bit, but it won't actually completely knock you down. Yeah, don't listen to people. It's not their vision, it's yours. So be committed to that vision and be committed to that purpose, and you'll do good. How do I know what I'm doing is what God intended. And I will say that there's always signs. There's always signs along the way. A woman I really love at church said to me, where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And you really just have to trust the process and have faith that whatever you're doing is along the right path. I mean, if you're completely on a different path, which I doubt anybody is, then that's different. But if you're just actively working towards something, you're walking in the right direction, you're doing good, you're all right, you're going to be fine. Like, don't beat yourself up and don't stress yourself. God hasn't told you, he can't expect anything from you. Be faithful with whatever you're doing. And there's a scripture that I really like in the Bible, and it says to everything that you do as unto the Lord. So whether you're just like working in a supermarket, stack them shelves like you're the baddest person there. Like, make sure you're the baddest shelf stocker there is. Like, whatever you do it with excellence. Whether you're a nurse, make sure you serve people. Make sure you're loving on people. Make sure you're doing your very, very best. And God's going to be pleased with that. There's a scripture that says, whatever your hand finds to do it with all of your might. Do it with all of your strength. And that in itself is pleasing to God, and that in itself makes God happy. Ultimately, to whom much is given, much is required. So God needs to see that he can trust you with the bigger vision, with the bigger picture. So if you can't be trusted to turn up to work on time, if you cannot be trusted to be integral in your work, if you cannot be trusted to get things done, how is God going to trust you with your own vision, your own big thing? So remain faithful in whatever you're doing. Even the people that have found their purpose, it happens in stages. There's levels. There's levels to your purpose. God's not going to show you the whole picture. He's not going to show you the end, but he will show you the next step and where you're supposed to be. So remain faithful. I'm dedicating this video to Kanika. She passed away 2 days ago, and she prophesied into my life that I was going to be teaching and being a teacher. And she was someone that knew her purpose and someone that was a strong woman. And it's so sad to hear of her passing and stuff, but I want to dedicate this video to her because purpose is so important, guys. Life is short. Life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So you must be focused on the things that really, truly matter in life. Yeah. Thank you, Kanika, for being a blessing to my life. Even that small word. What I'm doing now is ultimately teaching. This video can't be any more appropriate, so I dedicate it to you. I pray that your soul rest in perfect peace. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching to the end, and I promise my videos are going to get shorter, but I just have so much to say and I haven't mastered the art of cutting it down. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.